Now I thought I would show you what to do next when your seedlings have come up, because everyone sees us sowing seeds, but nobody sees what happens next. Now when you've seen me sow seeds, you'll see I do them in rows. Okay, my logic is, well, I can put 3 varieties of things in one tray, which I have. So there's different tomatoes in there. So what we're going to do is it's called pricking out. We're going to prick these out. Okay, so first off, we'll need a bit of compost. If you want to buy a gardener a present for Crimbo, call Shoal. Brilliant piece of kit. Can't go wrong. It's very good for doing compost with. Now, the thing is with compost is it usually comes up fairly lumpy. Alright? So, but what you don't want to do is knock all of the lumps out. You might want to do that if you're sowing seeds, but you need some drainage in the seedlings. Okay, because seedlings are very sensitive to moisture. So, for example, these ones here, if I kept watering them too much, they will stretch. Okay, and they'll go like bean sprouts, so they'll be no good to anybody. Okay, so the best thing to do, like I said, is to try and pot them on before they get like that. So, like I said, compost is a bit lumpy. Tend to have a piece of wood for that, and what that'll do is it just works the compost down. If you mash the lumps down a bit, you then get to see if anything shouldn't be in there. In theory, it should be okay. Now, this compost has been outside and it's been in the warm, so it's kind of not stone cold. A little tip for you: if you put your fingers in compost and it's comfortable, the roots are going to find it comfortable. If you bought compost from like a garden centre and it's been on top of a pallet outside in the rain and it's cold and it's damp and it's heavy, nah, you'll actually hold your plants back, if not check them completely. Okay, so that's a good idea. So to do with these, you could put them in little cell trays, or you could do them individually. I'm going to do them individually just because it's easier. They do take a bit longer to establish, but it's less root disturbance. Okay, which is the reason why I'm doing it at night. I could do this job in the glasshouse and enjoy the rays of the sun and all that. And it's fantastic for me. Not so good for them though, because they'll dry out very, very quickly. So yes, you'll have a marvellous afternoon pricking out seedlings in a lovely sunny glasshouse, but half of them will peg out. That's not good. So we're doing them now. So the idea is we'll do them now, give them a drinky, and then we'll put them in the glasshouse in the morning. I'll probably put them under the bench a bit, just give them a day or two just to settle, and they'll be away. Now, things to do to do your what I call your dibbing out with. So first things first, I'll put that there like that. Hopefully you'll see. So I don't go for expensive dibbers. We use pegs. Okay. Now what tends to happen is when I'm teaching, we used to have what I call a peg club. Everyone's got one of these, and they never know what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so the idea is you break it eventually like that. You will have like a knobbly end and a flat end. Flat blade, dead good for doing labels. We'll have that later. Okay, this is what we want. Okay, and the reason I want it for, if you look, it's flat, nice flat edge and a tip there, and you can hold it like that, and you can use it to move your plants and manipulate your plants around. If it's round, some people use a pencil or they use a dibber. Because it's round, it doesn't do as good a job. This is very good because it lifts plants up. And rather than a plastic dibber, I prefer wood because you get a nice bit of a grip on it. And when I'm finished with it, I mean, you can even use it as a label, so I don't tend to do it. And a pack of pegs there, that works out, I think, about 5 pence. So you'll pay 3 or 4 quid for a dibber. So the first thing is set your pot up. Okay, I'll just move that out of the way because you're not going to see. You should have said I would have moved it. So I'll just move this down a bit. Try not to get compost on the council computer. Right, so put it in loose and fill it up loose. None of this. You're not making a pork pie. Just keep it flat and loose, so it's level across the top. Yeah. So then the reason I do in rows is because I can then get in between the rows, all right, and take the plant up. So what you've got to do Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do it nice and close so you get to see what we're doing. All right. So what you've got to do is you've got to hold the tomato plant by the seed leaves. These are called cotyledons. Right. Now, if you imagine like milk teeth on a kid, you know, if they all get rotten with sugar and that, and they all drop out, you get a second set. So they're just there. These leaves here are very similar. They're just there to get the stem up and running, to get the main set. Okay, so you must never handle a seedling by its stem, squish, dead. You must never handle it by the tip, squish, dead. So you always handle it by that. So even if you break it, it doesn't matter, because the business end, the business shoot is there. It's right in the center there. That's what we want. Okay, so I'll have to do it this. I could do it left-handed. Okay, so using this divvy, so you can go in like a spade, and you can lift it. Okay, so if you lift it that way, you're not really going to damage it. So hold it like that, very carefully, lift it, and at the same time, you'll see me key it in between my two fingers. Okay. Now it is going to be a bit dingly dangly. Oops, daisy, easy tiger. So then I'll just move that down. Now I've shown you, I can crack on regardless. You make your little hole, okay, and because you've got a flat blade, it can make quite a nice little indentation, and you can guide it in, okay, with the peg. And of course, the only firming it's going to need is just to get the compost in. And when you tap it, there you go. You see, it's not. You don't have to over firm the compost. If you firm it too much, the roots, they just don't go. They just don't like it. They're not keen. All right. Now I've purposely picked them out the middle just to show you the purpose of it. So I'll stick with it. It's a heritage variety of tomato called yellow pear. Incidentally, yellow tomatoes, that's the first colours they really had when they came, hence the fact that when you go to Italy, they call them pomodoros, golden apples, you see. They thought the red ones were poisonous, so they never touched them for about 100 years. Turns out, because they're not, but on this one, I've got a red one, miniature, I've got yellow pear, which is like a yellow cherry tomato, and I've got one called Blue Bayou, which is like a real dark purpley blue one. There are dark ones, as heritage ones. That's a new old one, and it tends to be a little bit more pest resistant with them being darker. It's to do with the chemicals in the tomato. So make your hole first. The last thing you want to be doing is faffing about trying to make a hole with one hand. You get hold of your seedling, you do that, you lift it up, okay, we do that. I'm going to push it in like that. And again, just be gentle with it, you know. And don't be over concerned if it goes collapso, because if it does, it won't pick up quite well, you know. It's not going to give you any kind of grief, to be honest. So I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can move my laptop across so you can see a bit better. Like I said, I've not made I don't want to make a fancy kind of video. I just wanted to show someone. I thought I'll do a bit of seeds, I'll do a bit of pricking out. We've got ofstead coming in, da da da. So I thought I'll do a bit of relaxing gardening. All right. So now you should be able to see. You don't have to see my fantastic boyish look, so you can just look at my hands. Like I said, you know, my twigs and rubbish, and I like to get a tap. So again, level, yeah. Okay, make your hole with. You'd be surprised how many people are really good holding big dibbers. It's about the same size as a cigarette. Now, I've never smoked, but they do lend themselves to holding them quite well. Now, where I used to work, they used to all my learners used to have one of these when they were doing these assessments. And the first thing I'd ask them when they were doing some seedlings in the future for me, I'd have you still got your peg? Yes. And everyone else would look at them like they were gone out. Why on earth does he want a peg for? Well, I'll show you. Okay. So you probably see a bit better now. You use it in and lift it. It goes in like a spade. It's like a miniature spade. And bring it up. And the thing is, it sits in like that. If you sit it like in between your fingers like that, don't be handling the roots, okay? And then that goes in like that. It takes a bit of practice. If you think it's a bit low, you just put a bit more in. It does take a little bit of practice. You don't want them in too deep because they won't like it. And of course, guess what? You don't want them too shallow because they'll fall over. But it just takes a little bit of practice. And the reason, like I said, I haven't done this for a little while, and I thought I'd better do it because I might be teaching it. So I just thought I'd show you. All right, so, and again, same thing, you pick it up. And the beauty of also sowing my seeds like this, okay, I can cherry pick out what I want. And then if they're not quite ready, I'll just leave them and I pick them out. If you went shaking back across the top of the tray, that's a lot of seeds, that's a lot of plants, and potentially you could be wasting a lot. So I only grow what I need. So there's enough plants in it for my glass house, and a couple of spares for my daughter, if she wants them, or some of the learners. That's it. That's it. As I said, don't be over precious with them. They will sort themselves out. Okay. So they're working quite well. I can see I can do my tilty little, there's my little tilty table. Look, you see, they're not looking too bad. They're not looking too bad. And when it comes to labelling them, of course, make sure that you do label them, because guess what? They all look the same. Okay, so I only do one variety at a time. So I'm going to finish this variety, okay, and then I'll move on to the other ones. They can slightly tell them apart. Some's got a slightly darker stem, but this is just how I would do it, really. So, like I said, it's a very, very therapeutic way of just relaxing. So really, like I said, I think, was it ofsted? Good to have ofsted. Ofsted are coming, like, hopefully on Thursday. If they don't, doesn't matter. I've got my tomatoes, so, like, you know, we can all rest easy. Get in there. Make sure you give yourself a bit of distance. Don't go too close, because you'll end up shaving the roots off. You see what I did there? See what I did wrong? I took the thing up first before I put the hole in. That means you're like faffing about trying to dig a hole for it. It's nice to get them bang centre. Sometimes it's not. It doesn't want to. Remember, that's going to be in a bigger pot in what, like 4 or 5 weeks, you know. So that's an easy way of doing it. Make sure your pot's on a level as well. You don't want to be. So I always do that. You all see us do that. Like that. It isn't just to annoy everybody. The idea is it keeps it level as well. If the compost is level, the watering's level. And if the watering's level, it gets even moisture. Happy plant. I'll do one more. They probably won't want the video anyway. It'll be too long. You know, that's another one. To be honest, you kind of forget sometimes. So as long as you get them, as long as you're not, the worst thing you could do, right, is like get them all out ready. People do that. They put them next to the bench there, and they're all laid out like little soldiers like that. And I look and I go, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm going to prick these out all at once, Michael, because it's quicker." "Oh, okay." Because they do that, and then next week, the dozen that they pricked out, 11 of them are dead, because they dried out very, very quickly. So the idea is that they're like little vampires, you know. You've got to make sure that you get these moved on into the dark as quick as you can. Right? Not like bursting into flames on it, but you don't want them to dry out too much. That's it. You make the hole first, like you saw. Like I said, it's just an easier thing. Someone will cotton onto that and make a dipper like that one day. Okay. So again, lift them. I said lift and separate. I'm going, I think that was an advert for a lady's garment. We'll not go there. They'll never use the video now, you see, because I've made a bit of a, but it doesn't matter. We're all human. This is just, as I said, just for kicks. It is Jack. My dog's outside barking. So he's thinking, well, Dad, you're not doing it right, you know. I'm messing these about too much. So this is my last one. Like I said, I'm not going to leave it because I don't want to mess these up. So same thing, you got diggy. Don't be frightened to loosen a bit of soil off them, as long as you've got some soil around the roots. You don't want a big clod. So, and that's it. And you can see I'm holding it just by that seed leaf there. Okay, gently, but firmly, so it doesn't go nowhere. Okay. And just hold it so it's straight. Just gently as well. It's really funny when I get people to teach this, I'm teaching it to people. Anything like this really fine, If you go up closely to somebody, they stop breathing. They concentrate not hard on it. And the first thing I'll say to people is, breathe, you know. So although it's gone a bit deeper, when it's watered, actually what I'll do is, I think that's a bit too deep. So you can go, lift it up a bit. Not that precious that you can't fix them. Bit of soil in there, a bit of an air pocket there, I think. Yeah, so these are all my yellow pear. Okay, so that's what you would do. Okay, peg, compost, seeds. Do you like my other labels? There you go. So we'll get them labelled up, and I'll probably do these next, but I'll not bore you to death with one of them. Okay, so they're fiddly. Sometimes, if you want to get really easy, Ralph, these are my cucumbers. So again, same thing. It's the same principle, only bigger. All right. So that's what you want to do. Okay. So I'm going to put this on YouTube for my learners so they can see how I prick out. Like I said, give them a burst of water. You're looking at probably about a good 3-second burst. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll show you how much water I'll give them. I'll put them over here. Try not to water the computer, Michael, because they don't like water. Right. Get my leg out the way. This is an upcycled bottle of pop, but I've drilled a lot of holes in it. So what we'll do with it, we'll just 1, 2, 3, like that. What the water will also do, you'll notice the compost settles, and what it does is, as the compost gets pushed down with the water, it sort of packs around the root, so you get rid of the air pockets. So that's another reason why you don't over firm it. You give it a chance for it to settle, and let the water do its job, let the water percolate in. Give it a decent drink, okay? And don't give it another drink until you just start to see the compost start to dry out on the top. If you give it too much, they're going to sprout away again too much and too tall. So the idea is, once they're rooted, you've just got to make them hunt for the water a little bit. So you just let the top dry out a little bit, yeah? Because like I said, if not, they turn into water addicts and you never get a strong plant, and it's always going to be weedy and it's always going to be needy. So the main thing is, just let it hunt for the water every now and again. You'll not do it any harm. And that would be like it would do in the wild. So it would, you know, it would produce more roots. Because ultimately, a good set of roots makes good fruit. Okay? Right. Over to you then.